Welcome. If this is y'all's first time on my live, drop a 1. If you've been here before, put a 2. Let's see how many new people we got in here and how many other people are in here. Today we are going to be talking about pricing your products. Welcome. How are y'all? We got a lot of new people on here. So I am going to be going live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time and just talking about a different topic. So if y'all have missed the previous ones, go back and watch those. We did starting a skincare business on a budget, marketing your business on a budget, and today we're going to be talking about pricing your skincare products. All right. So my husband's on here, y'all. Everybody say hi. But I don't want to waste y'all's time. I want to get right on into it. So if y'all have any questions while I'm talking about this stuff, please drop a comment. She says hi. Please drop a comment. Let me know if this is making sense. I am going to save this, but it's not going to be here. I'm going to post it on another platform in case y'all are coming in here late. So let's talk about pricing. All right. This is what is really going to help determine whether or not your business is going to be profitable. All right. So when you are thinking about pricing, like, you don't want to think about it lightly, but also you don't want to overthink it. So you kind of want to find like a middle ground to start. All right. Another thing is, whatever you set your price to, it can change whenever you feel like it. All right. A lot of people feel like, oh, well, I had it at this price. I don't want people to be mad that I changed it. Most of the time, people don't even notice. So I think we can get like stuck in our heads about that. But when it comes to pricing, this is one of like the main questions I get is, so how much should I sell the product for? And my answer is always the same. I don't know what you should sell your product for because I don't know what your expenses are. So I would be doing you a disservice if I told you, oh, we'll just sell it at this price. I can tell you a price that I would sell it no less than, but that is the bare minimum. And I hope nobody is, selling it at the bare minimum because you're shortchanging yourself. So that's just like a guideline. But this is, like I said, this is a question I get all the time. How much should I sell this for? And we're going to talk about what goes into your pricing so that you can have a clear understanding of why your price is that price. All right. I think a lot of people just like put a price on something. They don't even know why they're charging that amount. And that's a problem. I've talked a lot about, being a good steward over your business. That includes understanding what's going on in your business and being able to justify like why you're doing things, not just doing it because somebody else is doing it. All right. Because if you're setting your price, what so-and-so over here is setting their price at, they could be getting those products at a way less cost than you. And that's how they're able to sell it for so less. And you're sitting up here taking a huge cut because you're trying to be like them. All right. And that's where a lot of like new businesses, including myself, you try to go in and market at like what these other businesses are marketing their products at. And it doesn't make sense for you. So first I want to talk about if you do wholesale your products. And then I'll touch a little bit about if you don't wholesale your products. But since I'm a wholesaler, that's what I'm going to talk about first. So if you wholesale a product, all right, let's say you bought $100 worth of product, and you got, 25 units. All right. So you got 100, you spent $100 on the product and you got 25. All right. And let's say there was free shipping. All right. So we're just talking about like what you paid. Okay. if you did have to pay shipping, you need to include that as well. That's another thing people aren't doing, is they're just like, oh, whatever the website says, that's what I'm paying for. You're not accounting for like taxes and shipping and stuff like that. But let's just keep it simple. So you spent $100 and you got 25 body oils. Why was it so hard for me to come up with the example? So you got 25 body oils for $100. That's $4 a piece. All right, are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Do you always wholesale? No, I didn't start off wholesaling. Okay, so you spent $4 a piece for this body oil. Right here. This is just an example, y'all. So we got 25 of these, so that's $4 each. Business is a lot of math, y'all. You gotta know how to break things down and get into the numbers. All right. So you spend $100, you got 25 little body oils. All right. You spend $4. That breaks down to $4 for a body oil. All right. That's not your only cost. So you can't say, okay, this body oil cost me $4. Okay. Unless you just giving it to somebody and you ain't got no label, you ain't got no package, you just handing it off to them just how you bought it wholesale. You can't say that this just costs $4. All right. You have to account, like I said, for taxes. If you pay for shipping, you have to account for your labels. So how much you need to know how much each label for each different product, because this label for this product and this label for another product is not the same cost. All right. You need to know down to the penny, how much does it cost for your label for your product? All right. So you got your cost of your product you bought wholesale. You already accounted for your taxes. So let's do an example. We did $100 if it was free shipping. Let's do $100 if you had to pay $12.50 for shipping. So that brings it up to $112.50 divided by 25. That brings your cost up to $4.50 once you account for shipping. Okay, does that make sense, y'all? You have to account for your shipping. Then you take that cost and then you add in your labels. Okay? In addition to that, this is why I don't tell people what they should charge, because I don't know how much your labels cost. I don't know what you're including in your packaging and how much that's costing you. That's something that you need to figure out. So how much, if you ship your package in a bubble mailer and you just put this in a bubble mailer, well, how much does that bubble mailer cost? You need to account for your bubble pouches. How much does that cost? If you ship wholesale with me, I give those to you. If you order private label, you need to account, if you use packing paper, you need to account for an average of how much packing paper are you using and what does that amount to down to the penny. You need to know that all of this is what is called the cost of good. You need to know what your COGS are, your cost of goods. Okay. All of that stuff makes up your COGS. Your product, your labels, your shipping. If you are shipping in a box, okay, that needs to be included. And a lot of people are like, okay, well, what if somebody orders more than one product? That's great. But what if they only order one product? That needs to be accounted for, right? So consider all of that whenever you're doing your pricing. Y'all have any questions so far? Because I'm going to move on to the most important part. So consider everything that goes into getting this product to your customer. If you don't sell online and maybe you sell it like vendor events, consider What's the cost of your bag? What's the cost of your business card? What's the cost of a thank you card or any inserts or anything like that? That needs to be accounted in your price. A lot of people are not accounting in, if they send a thank you card, they're not counting that in their cost. So you're having to eat this cost. This is cutting into the profit that you could be making. Okay? She said, that makes so much sense. Thank you as always. Good. I'm glad this is making sense. All right. So once you have your cost of good, okay, down to the penny, and I encourage you, if you haven't done your COGS in a while, do it again, because the price of things has went up. So just because you do it one time does not mean you're good to go. You need to be reevaluating your COGS as you're making inventory purchases, because businesses are going up on their costs, and if you're continuing to charge lower costs, you're eating that. Okay, so make sure that you are reevaluating that however often it needs to be. So, and you should have some place safe, whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's a notebook, to where you are documenting what all your vendors and what you're purchasing for your vendors and how much that's costing you, so that you can keep track. Okay, I know last time I purchased from them, and I'm not saying you have to keep it like month over month, but you should have a document or something to where you are constantly updating it as you purchase inventory to see, you know what, last month I bought this wholesale product and it was $100 for 25 units. This month it's $120 for 25 units. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to increase your costs a little bit, or you're going to have to figure something out. So make sure you are keeping track of that, because the cost of ingredients, shipping, all of that, like, it's going up. So you want to make sure that you are not eating that. You are including that in your cost. So once we got our cost, so this right here, we decided we paid $100 for 25 little body oils, and then that's we got free shipping. Okay, so we paid $4 for this, and then let's say the label, let's say that cost us 40 cents. So right now we're at $4.40. Okay, and y'all can go back. Y'all gonna have to do this for every single product. That's why when people try to launch with a lot of different stuff, keep in mind you have to do this for every single product. So not only do you have to market and do all the other things for your products, you have to calculate all the different expenses that go into just this one product. So right now, with just the product and the label, if you wholesale this is going to be $4.40. And then let's say between you putting your packing slip in there, you putting a thank you card in there, and your box, and maybe some packing peanuts, maybe you're at, maybe all that stuff together costs $2.25. So this right here costs you $6.65. Okay, so what I see a lot of people doing, and I hope y'all are paying attention, what I see a lot of people doing, oh, this only cost me $4. I'm going to sell it for $8. I'm going to sell it for $10. Well, it only cost you, it ended up costing you $6.65 all in to get this product to your customer, if they just ordered this one product. So you selling this for $8, you selling this for $10, trying to make it affordable for everybody. You're going to have to sell a whole bunch of these to make any money. Okay? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? What I suggest doing, okay, is trying to have a conversation with yourself and figuring out, what do you want your profit margin to be? All right. A lot of people, they don't know what their profit margin is. And this is really it's really scary if you're running a business and you don't know what your profit margins are. So like if y'all ever watched Shark Tank before, like they'll be like, so what's your profit on the product? Well, the profit on if they sell like one product, the profit, they'll just throw out like how many dollars they made, right? So for example, say this cost us $6.65. This is all an example, by the way. If y'all are just coming on here, this is just an example. If this costs you $6.65 to make, let's say you sell this for $15. So you're making $8.35 if you retail this for $15, okay? Your profit margin is the percentage of what you're making. So you would do what your profit is. I don't have my notebook right now, but you would do what your profit is in terms of dollars and then what you're selling the product for, and you would divide that. So this would give you a 55% profit margin. That is extremely low, okay? If you did this $6.65 and just did a 50% markup, that would be, you would be selling it for $13.30. That's a 50% markup. You're marking it up 50%. Does that make sense, y'all? So in the way you calculate that is your $6.65 divided by what you're selling it for. That gives you 0.5 of 50% margin. So this is where the math comes in, and you want to make sure that you are paying attention to not just what you're making per product. Okay, yeah, we're making $8.30. We're making exactly what we pay. We're making $6.65. What does that equate to in your profit margin? And why this is so important is because whenever you decide to run a 15% off, or whenever you give someone 10 or 15% for joining your email list, whenever Black Friday comes around and you mark everything down 30%, if you only have a 50% profit margin, a 50% markup, you might not even run a sale. I'm just going to be honest, because the amount of work that you are going to be doing to get not much back, except especially, if you're selling your products for a good amount. But when we're talking about skincare and you're only selling products for, $10, $20, $25, it's going to take a real long time to make any money. So keep that in mind. Is it a good rule of thumb to triple your cost of the product? I'm going to go back. I don't have like a rule of thumb to whether you should triple or quadruple. I've heard that before. I think it's important to determine what you want your profit margin to be. So I think you've purchased the pricing and profit guide before. I talk about this in that guide. Like, you don't just want to, because that's not consistent, if you will. All right. Because when you, especially as you build your skincare business and you add more and more products, it's going to be really difficult. Like, say one product costs you $3 to make. So then you sell it for $9. But another product costs you $8 to make. So you're going to sell it for $24. That's why I think it's really, really important not to base it off of, I'm just going to triple my cost of good and that's going to be my retail value. It's really, really important that you understand profit and your profit margin. That is extremely, extremely important for you to understand as your business owner. And that's not to say that every profit margin is going to be the same, but you should have a consistent range of what you try to stay in. And that's how you base your pricing off of. If y'all want to know more about profit margin, how to determine that. I do have you. I know you bought it. Yeah, you bought it. The pricing and profit guide that goes down. That goes through literally everything that you want to think about when pricing your products. It goes through what is profit, what is your profit margin, I teach you how to calculate that, and then I teach you the quick way to do it. I even give you a guide so you can plug in, hey, this is my cost of good, this is what I want this to be, and it tells you, what your retail value would be. I would highly consider, checking that product out. But regardless of whether or not you check that product out, this is important for you to know as you build your business. What is your profit margin? What does that look like for your business? And back to Shark Tank, when people have multiple products, they're not telling the judges, or the sharks, oh, I make, $6.35 on this body oil, and then on my face wash I make $7.01. No, they're saying our profit margin is X percentage, because that percentage is going to tell them how much wiggle room you have for marketing, for sales, right? People that are only doing like a 50 to 60% markup, and you're selling products that are $10, $20, it's very, very hard to scale your business if you run any type of sale, because you're simply just not making enough money. If you have a product that has been on the shelf for a while, is it smart to lower the price of it even if you invested more in it? So I wouldn't lower it more than what you paid for it. But again, this goes back to pricing and making sure that you are giving yourself enough wiggle room to have extreme markdowns. Right now, for my not wholesale, but for my other business, I'm running a 50% off sale and I'm still making money. Okay. So you have to factor that in, because you will have to run those types of sales to clear out inventory. If you decide to discontinue products, or let's say, you rolled out some summer scents, right? I rolled out summer scents and I still have some on the shelf. So we're doing a sale. These got to go, but I'm not taking a loss. Now, if you have set your prices too low and a 50% off sale, or a 60% off sale, just so you can move that product and recoup some of the money. Because what's the alternative? They're just gonna be sitting there. They're gonna go to waste. You have to either donate them, give, or depending on the shelf life, you may even have to throw them away. So you will have to take a hit, unfortunately. But that's just a reminder. You set your prices too low. You should be able to run those types of sales and not take a loss. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if y'all have any other questions. This is key. I would not, when I first started, I made all of these mistakes of going to look up every business that was selling the product I was selling and trying to figure out how I could be in between, be affordable. And I was selling things so low. And although I was making a small profit, that profit was not enough to be able to really grow my business. So the first couple of years, like, I had my products priced too low. I wasn't making any money for like the cost that it takes to run a business and to grow a business. So I think if you start out by just pricing your products well enough, and I'm not saying like, crack anybody's skull and like take advantage of people, like, absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. But you are in business to be profitable, not in business to go in debt and run your business bankrupt. So you have to pay attention to that type of stuff. Now, I said that I was going to talk a little bit about if you make your own products, what does it look like to calculate those expenses? Because it is different. Wholesale is very easy. For the most part, you have your cost of product, of what you're paying for the finished good. And then you just have to add in, your label and your packaging stuff. Now, when you are making products on your own, like I do, you have to calculate each one of those ingredients down to the amount that you're using to make the batch, and then to make how much you're selling it in. So, like, for example, it depends on how you do your products, but like, say for example, if you make a gallon of something, okay, how much would it take you to make a gallon, and then how much would it take you to fill a bottle? Okay. If you need help walking you through how to do that, that is also in my pricing and profit guide. I walk you through how to break down the cost for ingredients, because all ingredients, they come in different net weights. They cost different amounts. So I teach you how to break all that down to determine your cost of one product. So let me know if y'all have any other questions. I just really wanted to touch on this because it's very important, and it's the reason why a lot of businesses are having a hard time growing, and also why a lot of businesses, you want to like do sales, especially with like Black Friday coming up. Like, you want to participate in all these sales, and it may not make sense for you to participate because your price can't handle it. So let me know if y'all have any other questions before I hop off of here when it comes to pricing. Thank y'all for being on here with me today. I hope y'all learned something. Hopefully y'all learned something. I've been talking a lot about this, where a lot of businesses, they're talking a lot about like how much sales they've had, like how much money they made, but it really doesn't matter how much money you've made if you've not been able to keep any of that money. So I try to just be more realistic, that it's great that you're selling product, but if your company is not able to make a profit, why are you working so hard? You working so hard to sell all this product, but you ain't able to see none of the money. So that's, you kind of working for free when you think about it. So just be cautious of that when you see people like, oh, I made this amount, I made that amount, and it's like, yeah, you very well could have, but just because you made that amount doesn't mean that amount is in your bank account from the products, is what I'm saying. Yes, go back and revisit it, especially before Black Friday, because you want to make sure that you are setting your prices high enough to where your business can handle running a huge Black Friday sale if that's what you want to do. And also, like we just talked about, consider what happens when you have to run blowout sales. If a product doesn't work out the way that you want it to, or maybe seasons are changing and you need to clear out, praise the Lord. You need to clear out old, like the summer scents. We're going into fall. You need to clear those scents out. Or like what I'm dealing with right now, I have some products that I'm reformulating for my, not for wholesale, but for my company. I am reformulating some of the products. So I need to move those products. So even running a 50% off sale is not going to hurt me. Yeah, I'm not going to make as much as I want to make, but it's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to take a loss. So she said she doesn't know how to price with shipping included. So I'll go over this one more time. I did an example earlier to where we talked about spending $100 on inventory. So say you spend $100 for some body oils, you got 25 units. All right. So this was the example right here. And then we said shipping, let's say shipping was $12.50. All right. So you spent $112.50. Divide that by how many units you got. You spent $4.50 a piece. All right. If there's taxes and handling fees and stuff like that, you would need to include that as well. So I hope that makes sense. If y'all want a deeper dive into breaking this down and more examples, I do have the guide that you can purchase. Like I said, the guide, let me pull it up. So I can share with y'all what is in this guide, because I'm getting ready to hop off here. So it's called Pricing and Profit Guide, and it goes over everything that goes into your cost of goods. All right, how to determine what your profit is and your profit margin. Those two things are different. I have a pricing and profit digital calculator, so it helps you calculate what your profit is based on your cost of good and what you want to sell it for, what that would do to your profit and your pricing. And again, that is extremely important to understand whenever you are considering running sales. You need to know, hey, if I run a 25% off sale, what is that going to do to my profit? If I run a buy one, get one free sale, what is that going to do to my profit? You have to know that stuff. And the only way you know that stuff is when you are clear about what your cost of goods are. And then there's, like I said, there's also a how to calculate your product cost when you're making your products. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to hop off here. If y'all need anything, definitely let me know. I am going to save this, but I'm not reposting this over here on IG. I'm reposting this on YouTube. So I'll have the link for y'all in my stories. But again, I hope this helps somebody. I hope that this was enlightening and gave you some things to think about, that maybe you were like, I thought I knew what my cost of goods were, but I need to go back. So, all right, y'all. I love y'all.